Barry, just how did you feel about the performance against Minnesota?
Well, feel glad that we won the game. You know, obviously, winning's hard. Winning this conference and the people that we've been winning against, it's hard. And so, and I felt awesome about that our team got to experience that, and our fans and the people that support us, you know, got to experience I think a meaningful win in an environment that was really a special, neat environment to be a part of. And then particularly offensively, I was really pleased with the way we competed and played. You know, one of the things we talked about at length leading up to the game is that we had yet to put together a a four-quarter performance that I think that we were capable of. We didn't quite get there, because of just some, having to kick field goals instead of touchdowns, which is a huge part of the game. Do not want to sweep that under the rug at all, but the way we played from start to finish and competed and moved the ball against a quality defense like that, I was really pleased.
Obviously, Barry, you made a big impact. The offense is performing much better. Bielema talked about how you will learn things about this league as you go along. Like this season, what have you learned about the league? What have you learned about the play caller?
Yeah, I think there is some there's a lot of truth to that. Having been really in the SEC for I think that was 7 years straight, and then for about 14 years in the league, I knew that league pretty well. And obviously, we have a lot of people on the staff here that know this league very well, starting with Coach, and I've certainly each week, in particular the last 3 weeks in a row, obviously has helped me learn a lot about, who we play, the people we're playing, who they are, not only on what they are on film, but when it comes to life in a game. And obviously we've been playing some teams that just play incredibly good defense and that are strong and fast and physical, and certainly have learned more about those people and what they try to be and who they try to, what they are. And I think that'll only help us help me moving forward. Now each week's new, obviously going into play Nebraska, I've never played Nebraska before. So hopefully some of those lessons I've learned about what the league in general is about will help me moving forward.
Coach, what's different about play calling in the red zone? Does it change a lot?
Well, I mean, yeah, sure it does. Yeah, it does. I mean, I think obviously the first thing is there's less field for them to have to defend, down there, and so then you always, a lot of it depends on who you're playing and like where they shift. A lot of teams when they get inside the 25 or whatever, they may have a yard line that they kind of shift in the way they defend the zone. I think, for instance, last week Minnesota, I think they changed pretty significantly once you get inside the 10. There's a different defensive mentality and attack. And so a lot of it depends on who you're playing and how you plan and go about doing that. But it does shift for sure to some degree.
Josh's potential return, I guess, against Nebraska help you at all in that kind of that close five, just given his frame?
Well, it won't hurt, that's for sure. Having somebody that's big and physical like that, and that's a little bit of different maybe style of runner. And so yeah, it certainly won't hurt to have somebody else like that as Josh gets closer to being healthy. And but listen, at the end of the day, we got to play better. I got to call it better down there. We got to exit. And if you go back and look at it, we studied it hard this week. I mean, you go back and look at it, and it's a myriad of different things, like you would think it would be. It's not just one thing. It's not just you can't pinpoint it and say there's not a magic pill there. But we certainly are going to work hard to get more efficient there and become more efficient when it comes to getting touchdowns. That's a critical part, as well as our defense is playing. Those fours instead of threes can really create some separation there. And so I think obviously I understand that. Our offense understands that, and we just got to eliminate the things that have contributed to those you're going to get stops done down there. Some of it's the defense too. There's a lot of factors, and some of it is the defense and how the quality of people that you play and the way they defend and all that. But we've got to make sure that that we're putting our best foot forward down there through the play call and through our execution, and don't contribute to the difficulty that the defense makes it. And I've talked at length about that, and that obviously is magnified in that field zone.
Is that frustrating? Not frustrating? There's not one thing you can pinpoint. I mean, how do you kind of approach
that? I don't know if it's. I mean, frustrating. I mean, I don't.
It can be good or bad that you can't pinpoint.
Yeah, I think it's good. I think it's good to a large degree. Say, hey, listen, you go back and look at this and say, hey, we got, you study every one of the possessions that we've had, and we've been really, really close on a few of those that could have been even on Saturday that could have been touchdowns. And you go back and you always start with yourself. Obviously that's my job, is to everything that we do offensively is a reflection of me. And so you always start with yourself and say, am I putting my guys in the best position here through this play call? And obviously there's several, there's a handful of those that I would love to have back and do over. And but that's everywhere I've been as a play caller. That's where I've always been. There's always going to be a few. You just got to make sure that they're not at ill-timed opportunities. And so, you know, I just want to make sure I'm putting our guys in the best position they can to execute, and then execute within the system and be comfortable there. We've had some good series down there. We've done some good things. The other day, we let a few get away from us, and we just got to get that fixed moving forward, and we'll just put a little bit more emphasis on it and playing a little bit harder and just keep getting better. You know, when we do, I'm confident that we can get some of those things addressed and fixed.
Tommy DeVito seems to get a little bit better every game. What's been some keys for him?
Well, I can't say enough about the way he carried himself on Saturday and the way he played and stayed within our system and took care of the ball and competed. Had another really quality day. I think to a large degree, I think Tommy would be a microcosm of just our offensive personnel in general, in the fact that we're now 7 games into this, and I think we really start to feel I start to understand them, and they're understanding me, and they're understanding the system. And so you're seeing, I think early on, one of the things that inhibits a natural talent is when you're uncertain about what you're doing and you're not familiar with the system. That's one of the things that always inhibits, your natural God-given ability. And so I think we're to the point in the season now, halfway through this thing, where our guys are starting to understand the system well enough that their natural talents are starting, and their instincts are starting to take over a little bit more. And I think that's a positive thing. And certainly Tommy has, I think he's really settled into what we're doing real nicely, and is playing at a high level for us.
Barry, one of the strengths of Illinois' defense has been its ability to disguise what they're doing. I'm wondering, when they're around, how much are defenses disguising against you, and how well is that being read by your players?
Yeah, I think I think our guys do a phenomenal job of. In fact, we did experience it again today in the indoor when we were going against each other. It was just a reminder of, talking to the quarterbacks, how well our guys disguise what they do in the back end. It's phenomenal what they do, and we see a fair share of that. We actually saw some of that, a similar type pattern against Minnesota on 3rd downs the other day, where they did a nice job of disguising the coverage and, confusing the quarterback a time or two. And so, yeah, you see these, these defenses and the defensive coordinators in this league. I mean, there's some, just in general on both sides of the ball, there's outstanding coaches, and they have great schemes, and so you're gonna get presented, and we do get presented with some disguises and some different looks, and one of the things that we try to do with being a little bit more generated towards getting up on the line and running the ball, not running the ball, but running plays a little bit less time in between the the snaps, that to try to mitigate some of that that movement that you get, or the shells and the disguises and the way you play, but nonetheless you're seeing it. You just got something you deal with, and I think I think Tommy's doing a good job of seeing it. I've been really impressed with him communicate. Oh yeah, I saw that, coach. It was post safety, or I saw the nickel Sam come down. So I think he's seeing things pretty well.
Barry, you're selling an idea in the spring and summer of your offense now that you have 7 games of quarterback success, wide receiver success. Like, how does that change what you guys do in recruiting right now?
You're right, Jeremy. I mean, like, it's in the spring, it's easy to talk about it, and then the ultimate way to show it is to show it, for it to come to fruition in live action. And even though we've done some nice things in that regard, I think we still have more to offer, for sure. I mean, obviously the way we're running the ball, with the line, and you just look across all positions that we've been able to, fortunate enough, we've had enough success, I think, to this point, that you could just go down the line at all positions and have something to have a feather or two to put in your cap from a recruiting standpoint, to say, hey, this would be lucrative. This would be a good opportunity for me to come play in this system, and here's why. This is what the wideouts are doing, here's what the quarterback's doing. Look at what the back, and look how the line is, and the tight ends have made a huge impact on our offense, and so, and that's balance, right? I mean, that's really kind of what one of the things that we want to do is not one of the things. We want to have balance, and being able to run, and you guys have heard me say this before, and it's not my idea. I've heard it and copied it, but ultimately we want to be able to win a game running the ball, and win a game throwing the ball if we have to, and that's balance. Not disregarding the yardage and the output. Now Saturday was an epitome of a balanced game for us. The way we ran the ball and threw for, I think, around 250. I mean, that was really good balance. But yes, to your point, like, I feel real strongly about that. Like, if there's somebody that we're chasing and going after, we've identified that somebody can help us win a Big Ten championship here. I mean, you look at what we're doing schematically, and I think there's a position and there's opportunities available for those people to show their talents here in this offense.
Then development practices, you're going to get a lot of them in the bowl. How important is that? How do you approach that with the younger guys this week and then once the bowl practices come
Yeah,
up?
it's huge. I mean, obviously, in particular, like at the quarterback room, to get guys like, to get Donovan reps, that he's gotten some reps this week, and even to get Art, to where he got a bulk of reps yesterday or today, excuse me, and he didn't get a lot of reps during the week, during a normal week, and so anything we can get to bank up some reps for him and Ryan even is positive, and then for the young guys in particular, like, it's amazing how quickly, you get a young guy here this summer, you don't spend a lot of time with him, right, based on the rules and whatnot. You get in the fall camp, you spend about 10 days, and you start getting ready for the first game, and all of a sudden, Donovan Leary's going to be the scout, the look team quarterback, and he's not spent a lot of time in our system, and so this time that I've had the last few days to coach him and the other guys, Kirkland, in our room, to remind them what our system is and what our progressions are, and this is why we call it this. I mean, that's been invaluable, and obviously there's going to be more to come.
With Phil, was it always just kind of a matter of time for him just to be used to being a center and this offense, and then the starting center? It seems like he really elevated his play, especially those first few weeks.
Yeah, we've been real pleased with Bill, and I think Bart has done a great job with him, and obviously the line in general. But that position is the captain of the group, and has to do all the communicating and the identifications of where we're targeting and who we're targeting, both the run and the pass. And so I can't say enough about the way Pill has been kind of peaking at the right time for us offensively against some really stout interior defensive linemen group that he's gone against and will continue to go against. And so we'll continue to need him at his best. But I think Bart was pretty on point. Not pretty. He was very on point about the move there and putting him in there, and felt like he would be a guy that could go in there and handle it. And he's proven to be right.
You haven't had many games yet with Josh McCray. Just what have you seen in practice lately during camp that he can bring your offense?
Well, I mean, obviously watching him a little bit last year and what he had done last year, and got to see some of it in the spring, a little bit early in fall camp. Saw him, just the physicality he runs with, the momentum that he runs with. It's a different style of run than Chase. And I think he's going to be a great complement to him. And I think Reggie and Chase Hayden have done a phenomenal job in those roles for us. I mean, both of them have had opportunities and have taken advantage of those. And so I don't want to forget about those guys as we talk about Josh. But obviously what Josh did last year, he's earned that right to be talked about in that way. And we're excited to have him back because I think he can certainly bring another element to us in short yardage, red zone, open field as well, from a different running style. But just the physicality, he moves his lower body really well. He keeps moving. He falls forward. Those are all good qualities in running back.
Anything else for Barry?